Welcome to the Old Souls and Seekers podcast, brought to you by Satori Prime. If you're anything like us, you've been around and around the personal development and mindset block quite a few times. You've read the books, watched the videos, attended the seminars, and even worked with a coach or two, and yet you still find yourself searching for more. You may even feel stuck or that you should be farther along than where you are right now. And after doing over a decade of mindset work, we've come to this realization. Mindset work is like a small hit of dopamine that distracts you from your true work. You get these little hits of feeling better, only to be met with the same underlying conditions and patterns over and over again. Now, mindset was an important part of your evolution as well as ours, but it hits a plateau, and now you find yourself ready for that deeper layer of growth and expansion. If you're listening to this podcast, then you're ready to get off that Ferris wheel. This podcast is only for those that are ready to dive deep and do the real inner healing work. For those that are ready to move past more information into actual experiences. If you're looking for more understanding, then you've come to the wrong place. This is a home for old souls ready to fully embrace and remember who they truly are. Ready to make a profound difference in their lives and in the lives of others. So welcome home, dear one. We're excited to be part of your journey.
All right, let's go.
All right. Should we start with the drop-in here?
Yeah. Do a time container, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm wondering, what would it be like to do a little more guided drop-in today? How does everybody feel about that?
That'd be awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just kind of feel this kind of spontaneous kind of pointing to different qualities that wanted to come through. So we'll dive into that here. So just everyone just take a moment and find your breath and find this arrival into this group and into this moment. And becoming aware of your body as we transition into this group space together here. We're in different locations and different time zones, different parts of the day. And just take a breath in and just release the breath, letting go of any tension, letting go of anything you may be carrying, and just wishing it well. And just take another breath and breathing out any tension, breathing out any thing that's holding thoughts, tension, stories. And then the next breath, just breathing in gratitude for this moment, for this group. And gratitude for yourself for arriving here. And then begin to become aware of the space that is around your body. The room that you're in. It's like dropping into the space around the body. Start by dropping into the left side, moving awareness to the left side of the space around the body. Seeing how far that space goes. Just becoming really intimate and curious with that space on the left side of the body. And let your awareness move from the left side, space on the left side, through the body, all the way to the right space on the right side of the body. And getting curious and intimate with that space and seeing how far that goes. And then getting curious of that space and moving from the right side to the back of the body, out the back, through the space behind the body, becoming intimate and curious with that and seeing how far it goes. And then transitioning from the back, this boundless space from the back through the front of the body. Getting deeply curious and intimate with the space in front of the body and seeing how far that goes. And slowly transitioning from the front through the body and out the top, becoming aware of the space above the head, above the crown, really checking that out, seeing how far that space goes above the head. And from that space, that boundless space above the head, slowly transitioning, really mindfully and slowly bringing the awareness down through the body and out the bottom, and seeing how far that space goes. And again, mindfully and slowly transitioning, bringing the awareness back into the center of the body and expanding out 360 degrees, becoming aware of the space all around the body, becoming really intimate and close with that space 360 degrees around the body. Yeah, there you go. See if there's edges or any borders or barriers. Maybe noticing this empty quality of this space, this boundless, infinite space. And just dropping any efforting, any trying, just melt right into the space. From this empty, aware, infinite, boundless space, begin to become aware of the body, form. We're doing this from space. Noticing maybe energy, matter, becoming aware of your central channel from space. And surrendering into that. Noticing the body is being held by space. That energy is being held by space. The heart is even held by this space, this intelligent, loving space. And if there's any thoughts or parts or energy that arises, just allow it to melt back in to the loving, holding space. How deeply can you let go? How deep can you surrender? And allow. And then from here, becoming aware of your heart space and connecting with the group heart. Noticing we're not alone in these physical forms, resting in space. Yeah. Connecting with the group, the intention of this group to grow and evolve in love. Connecting to the support of this group and the support of the seen and the unseen. And then just get really curious with yourselves and check in with yourselves and see who's here now. Ask yourselves, like, who's here now? What's your baseline? And if anybody wants to name any qualities that they notice of what's here now, you can name it into the space, which will help amplify and support the group. And that's just a choice. You can either be silent or share. We'd love to hear from anybody.
Expansion.
Mm. Yeah.
Joy.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And love.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
I don't know what to call my experience. I specifically these last few weeks, but even these last few days, I'm touching something really new for me.
Mm.
Like I'm getting into much higher states very quickly. Even eyes opened. There's like a quality to the rest, the restfulness, and yeah, there was even a spark of a moment of subtle like DMT experiences, and even in this sit, I don't know where I'm at, but I like it. It's coming through in a lot of the teachings in the last few weeks also. Really connecting to people and like the emotional body in a way I've never been able to connect to before. It's like I've never had access to soft emotion without like some serious trauma or something, and suddenly it's like I really can feel what people are going through, the joy, the sadness, and even today I got to celebrate with somebody and it like just brought me to tears right away. I'm like, whoa, okay, it's really new.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Very rich. It's like Godiva chocolate experience.
It's a good description.
Mm.
Ooh.
Experiencing this very deep, but at the same time kind of it's narrow, but it's expansive at the same time. Quietness and stillness. It's almost like a portal, like a tunnel. Feels like a tunnel, like it feels like a place that is safe to explore. But it's kind of like Guy said, that it's a new place.
Mm.
And as I allow myself just to be there, like I said, it's narrow and expansive at the same time.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful. Yeah.
I have this part that showed up at the end of last time.
Mm.
It's moving. It's actually now right up in my heart. But what came in for it was it's the part of like lost innocence. And it's like slowly beginning to dissolve, but like very slow, kind of like when like a puddle's evaporating, like how slow it can go.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
It's like there's no word, like thrumpy. It's like thumping, but something else.
Mm. Totally. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Beautiful. Yeah. So it can move at any speed it needs to move. Puddle dissolving speed is perfect. Puddle evaporation speed, I should say. Yeah. Yeah.
I had 3 things come in over the last couple of weeks. The first one is one of my coachees triggered me, which was quite interesting to just sit and watch that. As she got into her expansion and her power and began synchronicity and everything all coming in. Everywhere I looked, she was posting, she was there. And whenever I looked, I was triggered. And I'm like, oh, I've not analysed it, but it's a part that goes back to my mother's expansive energy. So I've been sat with that. Then interestingly enough, last Saturday, I had an employee that was addicted to drugs. We didn't know, took him on. When we found out, I sat down, worked with him, explained that there's no judgment, and he went through what he was addicted to and how he was being weaned off. Anyway, he kept turning up and he was too high to be using machinery, so we had to let him go.
Mm.
And then on Saturday, Julie and I were walking through the town and he was coming up the hill and he got his earpods in, so I just put my hand up how are you? And I touched him and I welled up inside. And I'm like, wow. And I felt so much compassion for him. I asked him how he was. He was getting support for his PTSD. He was still addicted. He got a prescription in his hand, but they were weaning him up, keep weaning him off. And he felt in a much better place and began apologising for trying to come back to work in a factory. And I just said, no, don't. I said, because that experience has probably brought you to a better place. And all the time, I'm welling up inside. My wife's endurant, but very sensitive. And as we walked off, she said, who's that? And I explained who he was. She said, no wonder you had a soft spot for him. What a lovely guy. And that made me well up even more. And then the triggering, it just pointed to, fuck all the synchronicity and the money and all that. That's a byproduct. But what really the gift is the compassion and the love, which I never had before. And then the third one that came in was around money, and I'd got a resistance to drawing some money down out of our pension fund just to finish the house off, not much. But I was hoarding and didn't realise it. Then the stock market dropped, so it meant cashing shares in and taking a hit. So all of a sudden that resistance just left when I was meditating, and it came in really deep, draw the money down. So I'm in the process of drawing the money down. And it's like, wow. So there was like triggering, shift.
Wow. That's exceptional. Those are some huge wins that you're sharing. Yeah. Wow. I really especially love what you said about compassion being the gift. It's really beautiful. It's very poetic in that share.
And more important than anything, right? That's what was coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And since we've been leading up to the last exercises we did, when I was meditating, it was getting very restless. It's still restless because I've been practicing that letting go during the day, just letting go of the unconscious mind. So of course, this is trying to pull me back up all the time. And I'm just sort of, okay, I'm back up there. And I unhook and I get in. And when I unhook, I feel the energy flowing through. But then every now and again, I touch that sweet spot that you showed. I was sat with the coachee the other night. We dropped in and I opened up and it was like I was floating, but I was like this solid, beaming rock. And it was just solid, and I just sat there and everything was opened up and it was like quiet and quite amazing. And I've touched that a couple of times as well. So there's a lot opening up without me realizing it.
Totally.
Now I'm talking about it. I'm realizing there's a lot opening up.
They're making a hell of a point. This is so important. And like you're saying, there's a lot of juice in what you're saying here. Like, I mean, first, it's amazing how you're integrating and you're bringing the work into these different areas and you're really applying it. I'm feeling appreciation for that, like that, how you're integrating and bringing it in. And the other point that I'm hearing you make, and this is important for everybody, that all of us, and it's always a reminder for myself, it's like, these are the gains. You're pointing to the gains of the work, and they're showing up in different areas of your life, like less triggering, deeper compassion, showing up in that sweet spot, right? These being able to be aware of triggers, having some space around the triggers, synchronicities, like all these things these are all like, I mean, you've named a numerous amount of gains to the work, and actually writing these down is really good, or talking about them and sharing them in a group like this is really good. Like celebrating the gains and writing them down so we can really see where we're at, like truly see how far we've come, and help solidify that and stabilize that more in our life. And when you start to name them, you start to get that kind of that realization that you just had, like there's so many things that are happening. Just, it could be subtle, but when you start to look at it, it's actually not that subtle. These are life-changing shifts And so it's really important to remember that, you know, I like writing the gains down right now, like the celebrations and like where the wins are each day, because it moves things forward and it helps us to, again, stabilize this and create these new pathways in our brain and in our life, and it changes everything. So these are huge points, dude. Well said. Beautiful share.
And interesting enough for everybody else on the call, it kept coming in, share, and I kept saying, now. And then when you said let go, that it just tumbled out.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love it. I love your joy. I love your curiosity and your experimentation with everything too. It's great. Yeah. Fantastic.
That was such a beautiful.
Yes, please.
That was such a beautiful share, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And love you too.
Love you too. When you said about that beaming rock, that's kind of my experience right now. And I can go down into that rock, and it goes into this more stillness and quietness and inclusion. And I can come up on that rock, and it's like light and sparkly joy and just kind of stuff like that. And your share also really touched me in that way, that it has a lot of synchronicities, what I have been experiencing as well the last weeks. Just different experiences, but just have had a lot of opportunities to kind of like open doors that never would not be there apart from this work. They just would never be there because they're connected to the work. And so I had this, I probably shared here too, but I did share in other places that this pediatrician contacted me. It's been over 2 months ago, and she was I could just feel her need and her curiosity, because she had just heard me just very briefly in this little group to share about this work. She approached and said that she would really love for me to come and help some of her clients that are children. And I mean, it makes me sad right now, but I had to sit 8 weeks with that before I even contacted her. I was really freaking out. So my parts were just all over the place, just fragmented. I never had tried several times to contact her, but I just never had no clarity. Till just last week, I just all of a sudden, poof, it just came. And I sent off the email to her, and then she responded immediately and just said that she would like her and her partner to meet up, and also some regional office that takes care of all the pediatricians in these 2 cities in the area where I live. has just like welled my heart. And we'll have that call next week. But yesterday, she had referred me to this family, and the man called me and said they were just, the same thing, just that need and desperation. And he was just asking, could I come or could I meet up with his son that is 3.5 years old? And they've just tried everything. People with titles, his wife is psychologist. They just haven't been able to help this boy who has these huge emotions. And he's like, can you meet up on Friday? Like, that's 2 days from the call. And so I'm going to go and meet up with this boy in their home tomorrow. And all I have to take with me is right this where we are, and then whatever it's going to yield.
We're all right here with you in this moment. Right here.
I've also met up with many parents because I was asked to become a teacher for this group of kids. 10 kids, 10 families. And we've been meeting up with these families, and the message is just the same. Everybody needs this.
Yeah.
And just, feeling that need and sitting where we sit, I just don't have words. It's almost like bridging the gap. And if I may, I would also like to share kind of what's been showing up to come on the way. Like today, I just ran into this party of my parts because it's like how do you decipher through this need? How do you navigate? Because there's also some adults have who have approached me,
Mm.
and literally they're in desperation.
Mm.
And one approached me, and I didn't stop and wait. I just responded to that desperation. And that just triggered me.
Mm.
And today, when I realized that, it's just like I just was circled with these parts and all this fragmentation.
Mm.
Whew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're all right here with you still, as you're sharing, feeling what you're sharing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Mm.
Like you said, Andrew, that how deeply can you surrender?
Mm.
Like this whole process of helping and being resourced at the same time
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and it just is calling for a deeper surrender.
Yeah, totally. It's necessary. Yeah. And it's not all on you, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
of
very
course. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Appreciating your depth of your share and your vulnerability. Yeah. And also how much you care. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
You know, speaking of these children, I was that child.
Yeah. You can resonate. You resonate. You see it. I can feel that. Yeah. So you understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you've gone through it, it makes it even much easier to understand, right?
Right.
To have that total compassion and care for what they're going through. Yeah. Yeah. So just so you can use this moment just to notice that, like, a couple of things. First, that there's this group here with you, like feeling into this group that we're all here supporting you. Right? So you're not alone right now as you're sharing this, and as you're sharing this vulnerability of your experience as that child. We're all holding this with you. There's care for you, support for you. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. I can feel you noticing that now. Yeah. Yeah, you're right on it. That's it. That's the support. And while you're feeling that and noticing that, so you're not holding it all by yourself, because that's a lot to hold by yourself. We can really acknowledge the adult you are now. And even though you were once that child, like where you're at now in this group of these amazing beings and how far you've come. And that journey was important for you. So you get to be of support now to these other little beings that need it. Because you're bringing these tools that you've been embodying and you've been integrating. And it's important for you to be resourced, as you know. You mentioned that. Well, it was so well said. It's so beautiful that you shared that. That deeper surrender is really important.
Mm.
I also found myself at a time like getting pulled in to people that would need, that would be in need, or they would need what I would call help at that time. Or I actually let go of the word help, and it just kind of reframed it in a way for myself. I let go of like, people don't need help. Like, I know it's kind of strange. That's just kind of like my reframe I use. It's like, what people would benefit from me would be for me to show up resourced and embodied, and knowing that I can do the best that I can, but it's not up to me to save anybody.
Mm.
And they have their own soul journey. So from a bigger frame, from a bigger or wider view of life, there's this soul journey that they're on, and they're here to experience what they're here to experience. And from the human side, I can still do the best that I can to show up as support, to alleviate as much suffering and offer as many tools as I can as part of that journey, so they can learn to grow in love and not fear and pain.
Mm.
But it's not our responsibility. Sort of.
Mm.
You get what I mean there? It's like,
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to communicate. Like, it's impossible to navigate that from your mind.
yeah, totally.
And the safety of it is just the deeper surrender that yields those. Like now, when I'm going to see this boy, I know that from this very place, I'm already getting downloads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how to sit with him, how to talk to him, what to say, what to bring, how to relate.
Mm-hmm.
Little things
Mm-hmm.
that I never bring out of my mind.
Totally. The deeper wisdom flowing in.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep resting into that support that's here, and while you're there, you can rest into the field, the support that's there. So it's not just this heavy burden on you. It's not all on you. There's support here.
I feel the support. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So you get the human support, and then there's this greater support, this greater intelligence that's holding us all, that's holding the group. Got God intelligence, or goddess intelligence, or universal intelligence that holds the group. Yeah, that right there. Yeah, there you go. That right there. You're right on it. Exactly. Yeah. Nice. I feel you transmitting that now. Does anybody else feel the shift in her? Yeah. That's really nice.
It just comes to mind this place in the Bible, it says something like the rock of all ages. And that's like Stephen was referring to that rock, and it's just gotten bigger.
Mm.
And just how the depth of it is, it's just, I mean, it's just all resource. It's amazing.
Totally.
I
You know
so appreciate you all. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Mm.
Just as a gentle reminder, while you're headed to these places to support, you can always remember to open and ask in those moments for the support of the greater wisdom or God intelligence to be there. Like surrender. Like I always say, I do my best to remind myself to always, say like, I surrender to the divine guidance of God in this moment. Let me get out of my own way. Whatever prayer you want to use or whatever intention, just to move yourself over to allow yourself to be a channel for the divine. So you can, it's like participate with the divine in those moments to be of support to whoever you're supporting. So I always do myself I try to do that before every session, every group I'm working with, anything I'm creating. I want to surrender to the greater intelligence, because I don't know what's best. If I was running this stuff, we would all be in trouble. My parts would just be like all over the place, telling everybody what to do.
That's it.
Guy, write this down. That doesn't work in my relationship. That's a great example of where my parts are trying to tell people what to do.
The low price. I'll just talk to Felicia. She'll get you guys signed up.
Good. It's a wonderful share.
Thank you for allowing me to share all that. It's just such a release, like a huge release.
Yeah, totally. I felt that. It's good that you brought it into support. I appreciate how you waited for yourself to be ready as well in that share, like you should, like the 8 weeks or something in between. And I appreciate how you waited and really felt in until you were ready.
Yeah. Thank you.
What cool opportunities. There's such cool opportunities to support children, and I can feel how close that is to your heart. And yeah, it feels really just beautiful that that's coming in for you.
Yeah, it really is close to my heart. Yeah. It's like my heart.
Yeah. Something special about that as part of your mission or what you're here to do, as a part of it somewhere. It's kind of obvious though, right? When the universe starts throwing things in our face, it's like,
yeah, that's right. I mean, how can you say no?
Totally.
You don't know how you can say yes, but you don't know how you can say no.
That's a good sign right there. And it's like, yeah, it's a good indicator. Yeah.
It's like jumping into these magical boots and just going.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Anybody have any reflections that they want to share?
Both shares were stunning. But I've also hit a lot of parts.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Felt the resonance. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And Andrea, all those parts are welcome here in the group. All of you is welcome. There's space for you here. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this part of missing compassion, which is so much of who I am.
Mm.
It's like a stab of like feeling like a failure.
Mm.
But mixed in with the compassion moving towards that part of lost innocence.
Mm. Mm.
Because it's mine, that the part is. And I've always had, not always, but had these visions of like, in the last few months, of dominoes of each of my, like every year as I aged. And then they stopped they stopped at 16 for multiple reasons. And it's like I was stuck between like 16 and 22.
Mm.
And like the innocence lost.
Mm.
And then knowing that that lost part is why I've chosen what I've chosen.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Whew. Whew. Mm. Mm.
It's like it's the parts in like blindness, like right before like a snake sheds its skin, they're blind, and that's kind of how like it feels, like the parts there, but it's in darkness.
Mm.
But it's dissipating at the same time.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm.
And all I can do is have compassion for it.
Mm. Is it okay if we have compassion with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel the grieving of that lost innocence. Yeah. I can feel that one. Yeah. That one especially. Yeah. And it's okay. That makes sense. It totally makes sense. Yeah. And maybe that part, the vulnerable part, the one that's grieving, can really notice that we're here. And this time she's not alone with it. Yeah. It's like it's totally welcome to be felt fully. Like you don't have to stop feeling it. Like it's welcome. Yeah.
It's like each time I sit with it, like more memories come.
Yeah. It's like cycling through. Yeah.
And it's processing, but it's like the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then shame.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to welcome shame. So let's welcome shame. Hi, shame. You're welcome here too. Shame is welcome in the group. That's a tough one for us to feel. But we're going to just this time welcome it in. It's okay. Yeah. There you go. Just welcoming everything into this group here. Yeah. Yeah, all that's welcome too.
Yeah, there's love for that here, Andrea. We've all been there and felt that shame.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
You're not alone with it.
Yep, and that anger is welcome too. That's absolutely welcome, by the way. Yeah.
Isn't it creepy as fuck that he can do that?
All that. Yeah, we want that too. We want all parts. There's room for them all. Yeah. Yep. It's not too much. It's never been too much.
Mm.
Yeah.
I really like that for you, love. It's never been too much. It's just like an inability to be received by people who have not worked these parts themselves. They don't know how to receive these parts.
Yeah. And that was never your fault, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
See if you can relax your jaw just a little because it's in the jaw, like there. Yeah. There we go. So it can flow. Might even feel heat. It's okay if there's some heat moving. It's a good sign.
Feels like pelting in my heart. Like guns.
Yeah. Is it okay if we even say welcome to the pelting? Totally welcome. That's welcome too. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Shame.
Yep. Totally welcome here again. Absolutely. You're doing so beautifully, feeling all that. And I want you to check in energetically with the group as you're feeling. Like notice you're not alone with it. So we're not cycling in it. So we're noticing that, oh, there's a resource. Like even when you're there, there's love. There's support. Yeah, there you go. You just let it in. Let that in. There's a place that's almost like there's like a door that opens and let it in for a second, then closed. And that's okay. It's like, did you feel that? You feel what I mean by that? I let it in for a moment and then just kind of close. It's like, yeah.
I oddly have that vision all the time of a little door in my heart that opens and then like
That's it. That's it right there. Yeah. So that's cool too. We're going to even thank that mechanism, that protector. Like that's a cool trick that you got there. That's like a energetic door that like, oh, I'm not going to let it in.
Mm-hmm.
That's badass, actually. That's a cool thing. It's like some wizardry right there. Yeah, it's wild to me that we can do this stuff, that we have that ability. Yeah. So we're going to thank the door. And then Andrea, I want to present you with a choice. Like you get to choose, like you can thank the door and then notice a little bit of the group again. You can make that choice to take in the resource. Yeah, there you go, right there. There. You feel that soften there, beautifully done. Yeah. See, there's a choice. We actually have a lot of choice in this world as humans. I was talking about this with Guy yesterday. There's like something that reminded me lately of the power we have as humans through one of my experiences that I'm going through. And we have an ability to choose well-being, ability to choose illness, or an ability to choose happiness and joy, and wiring ourselves for positivity, not false positivity, by the way. I just want to be clear, but we have this miracle of our body, I should say, this power in our brain, this power in our nervous system. And we've been given this choice. We can learn lessons through pain, or we can learn lessons through love. We actually can make a choice. And a lot of us know how to learn lessons through pain. I think we all have that down. Yeah. I don't think we'd be sitting here if we didn't. So we can choose. So in this moment, you get to choose, noticing that there's support here for you this time. Like, you're not having to do this by yourself. Yeah.
It's like my right side is like the joy side, like the bright light, everything. And the left side's like darkness.
Perfect. That's beautiful. So we welcome the joy and the light, and then we welcome the darkness. So we welcome the left and the right. Welcome them both in. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
May I call out something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Andrea, we also so warmly welcome that shame that is somewhere in that left side.
Mm.
Like, it can just really, really come out, because there's so much compassion for it here.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Andrea, are you okay if I name a part?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part that a lot of us have that actually kind of likes to be in the, what I would call like the negativity, or the like, for me, it's like crankiness. There's a part that likes the crankiness, or that's my experience of my part. There's like, we have parts that like it. So I think there's a place that might actually like being in this sometimes, like the shutdown, or like I don't know what the word is for it, but that's, for me, when I have it, I have like a cranky part that's like likes to be in the negativity. Guy, I think you can relate to this. Do you feel like you know what I'm talking about?
Big love from the crank.
Does that make sense, Andrea?
It does. Yes.
Yeah, so
mine is kind of it's will last like several years, waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like, it's always.
That's it. That's it. That's the next shoe to drop syndrome. That's totally cool. So that one, we're gonna hold that one in the group as well. Like, cool. We love crankiness. We love her too. Guess what? She gets love even in there. Yeah. You're there, right there. You're letting that in beautifully. You just breathe that into the heart. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. She gets love too.
I actually just saw the door open and like a rainbow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. Beautiful.
Welcome, crank.
We have this idea that it's easier to be in that. Sometimes it's like, it's not, but it can last. It can hold on.
Crankiness likes company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All these parts, if you notice a theme, they're all welcome here, and they all absolutely get love, like truly are held in the field of love and compassion. It is what it is, no matter what. Even if they try to block it, they're still getting the love.
I realize how much of my, whatever part it's called, the show part, puts me in my happy, cheery front when I'm with people, and then when I'm home, less so.
Yeah. It's a protector. Yeah. It's like a mask that gets put on. It's like inauthentic, right? It's not accurate. But yeah, we all have that too. I'm speaking for everybody if that's okay. I mean, I feel like everybody, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I did in that moment. But I feel like everyone's nodding their head. I don't know if your eyes are open, but everyone's nodding their head to that. Yeah. 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 So there's appreciation for your vulnerability and as you are right now in this moment. I'm truly appreciating the vulnerable share and the authentic experience of your emotions and the fluidity of how you feel, because you feel the emotions beautifully, the fluidity of it. So really, really aware of that gift you have. Yeah. So I want to present the choice, like there's the choice to get into the process or the choice to notice something, a difference happening right now. There's support, human support, and there's love here in this field. So we want to keep pointing our systems to the well-being, and then the once we process, we also want to notice what's here now, right? The love in this group, the support of the group. Yeah, like that. There you go. That actually is the medicine for the grief. In this work, there's like we got this practitioner coach side or healer side, whatever label we're using. And then we got the client side, and we can learn both how to be a good client or a client that actually knows what the healing zone looks like. And one of the skill sets is how do we process to the point where then we want to then get out of processing and point to the well-being and point to the resource. And what starts to happen is a lot of people, this is not I'm not saying this is happening in this moment, but I just want to point to this. A lot of people begin to process, and they just process and process and process and process, and they don't go to the resource. So then they kind of get into a processing loop. So
tired of the process.
Yeah, I hear you. I that's why I'm sharing this, because if we put an anchor of this in our system, it's okay to process. Of course, we want to process material, but then we want to take in the resource that's here now, so we can build more and more resilience and actually heal the pattern and get out of the triggers and get out of the trauma. So that is a skill set of a kind of ear quoting here, good client. Like, how do we take in the resource and acknowledge right now the resource obviously is this beautiful group that we've cultivated, and then God and the universe that's here and the support. So every time you drink that in, Andrea, that's healing for not only you, but also the group. Yeah. Does that make sense? Being a good client, that's like one of this many skill sets that we can grow. And I'm always like looking like, how do I accelerate my work? Like, what's the way to move into greater and greater well-being and resilience in life? Yeah, totally. How's that feeling, Andrea?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's lessening.
Yeah, beautiful.
Brightening.
Brightening. Yeah, I feel a softening in your system, by the way. Yeah. And the emotions that are there, it's normal for that still to be there and still to like process. It will probably process throughout the day, even throughout the week. Because this is actually a big one. Like you said, you talk about shedding. Like, this is a big one you're shedding, in my opinion. That's my story of it. So be gentle on this one.
Yeah, it's been lingering for a few weeks now.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm glad you're bringing this into the group here with us. Some richness in all these shares, a lot of depth today. I mean, there's always depth, but this is really three really beautiful, deep shares brought today. Really appreciating it. Yeah. I feel like the impact on me has opened me up more as well. Like, it's really beautiful.
I just came back to the vision I had when we started this, when we were heading out to space. Lately, I always see, when I think of my heart, Saturn with the ring around it, and it's pulsing like my heart. But I can actually vision it earlier and now, like all of our souls, like sitting on it, pulsing on the ring.
That's cool. That's really cool. It's very cosmic cool. That'd be a cool painting.
It would be a cool painting.
Like souls sitting on a ring of Saturn. That's badass. I don't know if you're an artist or not, but that'd be something cool to paint.
Only stick people.
We'll do a stick Saturn with stick people sitting on the rings of Saturn.
Let's wait for the rings. Which is nice. A lot of anorexic people just hanging out in Saturn's rings.
I think the rings are rocks, though. Aren't they rocks? Aren't they? Like, I don't know.
There's no resistance in space. So there's no weight out there.
I like sitting on the rings with all of you. That's fun. Cool imagery. Yeah. We're still here with you, by the way. We haven't gone anywhere. We're just allowing, like, marinating in this a little bit here, like a little space. And by the way, we can choose in everyday well-being, like in moment by moment. Like, what are we choosing? What are we focusing on? What are we placing our awareness on? I've been making conscious shifts lately when I'm in like a negative focus or something that's like I become aware of, that's a habit of like focusing on what's wrong or something not working. I've been thanking it and making conscious shifts to like gratitude, or to like the trees outside my house and what's working. And basically what that's doing is creating new neuronal pathways of well-being and new habits. And eventually they'll become embodied habits instead of focusing on what's wrong. So we have such choice in every moment. Like, how are we wiring our nervous system, and what are we wiring our brains for? It's very powerful that we have that ability. I mean, when I'm talking about the power of this, like, I've been blown away lately at the power of this. It's like I've had such a reminder with some of the experience of my health being shifted by doing this type of work with the day-to-day. What are we focusing on? What are we filling our minds with? What are we filling our bodies with? Well, I've been filling my body with a little bit of chocolate lately, so that's I count that. How's everybody feeling? What's alive for everybody? I'm curious. These shares have been rich. I'd love to hear any feedback on any of it, or reflections, or anything for Andrea.
Well, first I want to say that chocolate has healing properties.
Totally. I'm gonna write that down. I gotta remember that. Absolutely.
I just got drunk on that. So
And Andrea's share. And Andrea's.
Andrea, when you started sharing,
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard you share from that place. And it just like, all I can say that I know you better now. I feel you better. It's like my heart was just cut open. for you and with you. It's almost like, the little children of ours, they just met. The little girls, they just met.
Aw. Aw, that's so sweet.
So I really thank you for that.
Thank you. You've been such a part of my journey.
And you mine.
Three old soldiers together.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was quite interesting because towards the end of Kirsty and Andrew's conversation, I was drawn to you and I could feel into your system. And it was like, share it, open it. And then when you did, it was like quite amazing. And then I just, as you were processing that through, I just felt heat all through my heart and the chest. It was, quite interesting.
You've also been part of my journey from day one.
And that's just, I was waiting for that. I was just sort of thinking the three of us have been very well connected.
Yep.
All through the journey. It's like, wow.
No offense, guys, but you're like our seniors. I'm waiting till the new people come in and you're like, back in my day, we never did minis at all. We just sucked it up and fucking bore it.
And it was quite interesting because when Andrew was doing that incredible stuff of tracking Andrea, I remembered when I first watched you two guys track 2.5 years ago and thinking, wow, I want to do that. The energy shifted when I was watching Andrew. It was like, wow, one day I will be doing that. So that was an interesting shift.
You're going to have a feeling if you explored that right now on minis and stuff that you were already doing that. It's like the only reason it took me so long to recognize that I was even doing it was because one day on a client call, I was like, it was with Diana. You remember Diana?
Yeah.
We were on a call, we were talking about something, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, I feel something. I'm like, let me just say something. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you feel this, but can you feel this? She's like, yeah, I can feel that. I'm like, okay, what about this? She's like, yeah, I can feel that. I'm like, okay. We start going to this big experience. She starts telling me about this purple light. She starts having this like DMT-ish type of experience. And at the end of it, she comes out, she's like, oh my God, what was that? And you know what? It was like, and I was like, I don't know what that was. And that was just kind of how it started for me, because again, I'd been sitting with Andrew for 3 years. I do think there's some, purity is not the right word, but like, you like can't chase it. Like if you see it and you chase it, I actually don't think you'll get it. It almost needs to, it's like love. Love is actually springs forward spontaneously. If you try to capture it, you don't get it. And so I feel with these gifts, it's the same thing. And we all need true mirrors. We need a reflection back to ourselves, and something needs to help you locate it. I have a feeling if you sat in minis and you're just like, hey, quick, just like check you out, check them out, notice what's changing in your body and be like, hey, are you noticing such and such? Then the next question is, how many validations do you need before you make it true?
And what the golden nugget was, on top of all that, was Andrew explaining getting out of the way, however you frame that before you start and you drop in, and just getting out of the way, or divine intervention to get out of the way and just let the divine in. That was the golden nugget, I think, on top of that. Interesting how we pick up these words and shares.
Well, and their meaning will change, right, as your personal experience with exploring them changes. And I think that's the beautiful part, is like, it doesn't, none of the words really have meaning. And that's why I think that it's more accurate to say pointer than a definition. It's like you keep pointing at it, you keep seeing it differently. And of course, that's infinite nature, whatever we're pointing at. So can always change, will always change, has always changed. And so like, it feels to me kind of like with Andrew, right? What we're looking at, or anybody else, it's like there's a pattern that's not changing, that's very curious, because the nature of things is to change. And so like some part of us is holding on to it. Once that gets its need met, it can stop holding on to that. And then it changes. And the change always seems to be towards more neutrality, homeostasis, more well-being, more love, more openness. And if like that's what's changing, then there's a lot of motivation to sit in that experience. And I think when you were in a group feel like this, what I feel now is like a lot of what I feel in ayahuasca is the group is metabolizing, not the individual. Like we're all sitting and metabolizing. I can actually feel what Andrew's metabolizing. It's metabolizing through my system too. And I think that's ultimately the power of like a community like this coming to more awareness. I think it's why the programs get more potent and everything. It's like that person on their own first time in couldn't possibly be metabolizing that much energy, but the group can.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that, what you just said.
My biggest, sorry, one quick second. I'm sorry, my biggest realization this last year has been it's not even a euphemism. We literally need each other. Like ascension doesn't happen alone at all. We actually need each other. Everybody has little bits of information that everybody else needs. And when we come together, our systems like energetically signal and share these bits of information under our consciousness. And that's how we heal. And there's something so profound to know that like human transformation has to be done together.
Well, we screwed things up together, so
yeah. We might as well put the hammers back in the belts and do something else. Yeah, sorry, Kirsty, go ahead, love.
Wow, that was so good. And then I started laughing because I was like, did you just put that thumbs up when you shared that? I was like, what happened?
I don't know what's happened. I think my camera, Sarah, like, watch, I'm going to do this. It's showing me a little timer, and then my hand will be up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. But it was such a good share. I said, okay, yeah. You know, the realms are saying.
Yeah, the realms.
Right. Talking about the metabolizing, I guess that's the word. So when Andrea, you were sharing and then I was saying that they're, welcoming the shame, I could literally feel like on your left hand side, on the just above the hip bone, like a mark of a hand, and it was so strong, but now it's all gone. Yeah. And just going back, even if, just going back to like how we're so connected.
Yeah.
Oddly, my left hip is the one that always bugs me. Not oddly, actually. I take that back.
So beautiful. Again, thank you everybody for your depth today. This is such an honor, as always, to be in your presence, and I feel like this might be a good place to close the group today. Lots of water. Please drink lots of water after this. There's a lot of energy moving, and maybe rest a little bit after this session, and don't do anything too active or too hard for like the next half hour or hour or something. Go easy. And just remember, like, you can, what you're choosing, what are you choosing moment by moment? That's just a good reminder. Yeah. All right, everybody.
Great session today, guys.
Thank
Love y'all.
you.
So much love to you all.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Good.
Hold on, let me do it again. Does it work for this?
Probably not.
Will it work?
Probably not.
No.
Simple gestures. Okay, so this is all you guys get. 1 second. Oh, I messed it up when I waved my hand. It's gone. I'm done. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, dear one, for choosing to share a bit of your day with us. We value you greatly. And as a way to give back and help you to deepen these practices, we want to invite you to join our incredible community on Facebook. You can do so easily by going to joinoldsouls.com and ask for an invite. This is our private community where old souls and seekers are able to grow and share their journey with others. We hold exclusive weekly live streams, we answer your personal questions, and offer valuable insights that we won't be able to share here on the podcast. So again, just head to joinoldsouls.com and grab your invite today. And as always, if you enjoy this podcast, please head to iTunes and leave us a review. It's the only way other people can find this show. So if it's making a difference in your life, please share the love. Until we meet again, have an amazing week, dear one.